I'd certainly recommend you considering flipping the classroom because it enables us to think about our traditional delivery models and whether they will work best for us into the future. Our traditional models of delivery face-to-face have been the sort of passive lecture, where it's been about delivering content, and online or to distance education students, it's again been about delivering content through a study guide or perhaps in Moodle through uploading PowerPoints or whatever it might be. And I think it's worth considering whether that's the best model into the future. It actually, has a very ancient history, and it's been around a long time, so that doesn't mean that we should throw it away. But given that there are new technologies, we might make the most of those. And the logical reason for me to think about flipping the classroom is that it perhaps provides a higher quality time for that face-to-face interaction, so that you present your normal sort of lecture type presentation in this model as a video clip, which can be as long or as short as it needs to be, rather than being constrained by the tyranny of the timetable. The great thing about that video clip is that people can re-watch it if they don't understand, or if they don't understand my strange Pommy accent or something like that. Students have the capacity to be able to rewind and reuse and re-watch that video. You can also use analytics to find out whether the students even bother to watch the video. So there are all those kinds of benefits, and that then frees up your time so that you can do the sort of higher value, higher quality interactive stuff, where you discuss problems and questions and have tutorials and do group work or project-based learning or whatever it might be. But you put that valuable stuff in those other sessions where students have watched the presentations in advance. That's what I think is the advantage of the flipped model. Have I tried flipping a classroom, and what are my experiences? Well, I'll give you two experiences. The first one quite quickly. I tried flipping the classroom as a model in my interactions with the School of Engineering and Technology. I sent people a video, and I then went along to a session where I hoped we'd do some interactions and folks would have watched the video. Nobody had watched the video. It was a big flop. So that tells you that it's quite difficult sometimes to get participants to watch these videos. Students won't necessarily take to them like a duck to water. The other, perhaps slightly more tenuous kind of example of a flipped classroom would be in my Term 3 course, where I certainly use this kind of video presentation a lot. And then I use group discussions and collaborate sessions to try and get that kind of interaction going and answer questions and solve problems. So I use the question and answer discussion forum, I use weekly topics, and I use collaborate sessions in that way. It's probably not really a flipped classroom model with a capital F, but it's got those elements. And it's really around providing an engaging delivery model that this is based, so it's not that you tie your colours to the flipped classroom mast and that's the end of it. It's that perhaps some of our more passive approaches are really not serving us well at the moment. We have high levels of attrition, lower levels of student success than we'd like. So maybe if we can make our delivery model more interactive, more active, more interesting for students, then they will engage more, they will get more out of it academically. They'll also interact, certainly online, with their peers and get more out of it socially by interacting that way. And all of the research on attrition tells you that if students feel academically and socially integrated, they are more likely to succeed, they are more likely to be retained than if they don't feel those things. Again, I don't have a lot of direct experience of this, so you'd be better to get that kind of feedback from someone like Lydia Kavanagh, who has done this at UQ. But my guess is that the key success factor of a flipped classroom would be about preparation and planning. It's not the kind of thing that you can just say, okay, I'll record my lectures and then I'll just rock up and answer some questions in the old lecture slot. That's not going to work. I'll be very surprised if that worked, and that you could get the kind of rich interactive dialogue that got things going. So I think you're going to need to direct those flipped face-to-face sessions, and you're going to need to think about what you're expecting students to do in those sessions and give them plenty of notice and support them through that. So I think that would be the most important success factor for a flipped classroom.